Well, hello everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. We know that it takes a few minutes for Facebook to, kind of populate an audience. You don't see the video? Well, let's see. It says that I'm live. I'm not sure. I'm glad you're there, Natalie. So let me know. Can you see us yet? Okay, now it's saying Anita EDU just shared your video. Can you guys see us? Let me know, Natalie. Okay, we're going to wait just a few minutes. Hey, okay, you can see us now? Yay, yay. Awesome. Okay, let me turn this fan off so you guys can actually hear me. I'll be right back. She can hear us?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hi, Angela.
All right, so we are here today for our little event, our live online event called Fantastic Failures of an Average Mom. And we know you guys are probably wondering, why in the world would they pick a name like that? Well, there really is a reason. We want to talk about moms and we want to encourage them, because as moms, a lot of times we do feel like we're failing. Sometimes we are worrying if we're going to mess up our child. We might feel guilty. Or, we may want to wonder, what are other people thinking? Or we want our kids to obey and we're trying to figure out, oh, it must be something that we're doing wrong. And so today we're here to share some of those things. So I'm Anita Gibson. I'm a coach, a speaker, and educational strategist. And I'm here with my dear friend,
Trina Ferguson. I'm a homeschool mom and recently an author.
Awesome. And so God just kind of put it on our heart to just share out with moms, just to give them maybe some encouragement and some tips, just to know just how amazing they really are. And that's why we call them fantastic failures, because they're actually the things that we feel like we fail at are actually indicators, of some things that God wants to do with us. And we also are here and we call it that because there are so many things that you're doing right, Mom. Yes. You don't even think about them. Trina?
Yes.
You don't even think about it. You just say, oh, that's or average. That's ordinary. It's like 20,000 things you're doing right. And then you got a couple of things over here that are like glaring at you. But that's all you see. And so we're here today to let you know we need to have a mind shift so that we can really understand why we're here. So we want to talk to you guys about busting lies, like you're not doing anything right. You're not doing enough. You're not sure you can take much more, or where you are right now is a mistake. Does that ring a bell in anybody's heart? Trina, what do you have to share?
That definitely rings a bell for me. The guilt part, especially because I have this thing, this owl syndrome. Like the animal owl that looks around. I have a tendency to look around, and everybody else seems like they're together. Everybody else seems like they actually like spending time with their children all of the time. And so for me, I look at my kids and I love them.
Yes.
And I'm like, I feel guilty for not wanting to spend every waking hour with them. Yes. And that guilt kind of pushes you to one of our topics, which will be Showtime. It pushes you to present your life as if it's perfect. Right. And I love being able to talk to you because you do help me to have that balance in life. You don't want your kids looking crazy or your house looking crazy. Right. But at the same time, we're human. And moms, I think we need to understand that we are human. That's and right. We will make mistakes.
That's right. Awesome. And so true. So she hit it on the head. One of those words she used in there was guilty. That little word that many of us as moms feel we just like, it's kind of there. We might not even say anything. It might be because we don't want to spend time with the kids, or we feel like we should have done something that we didn't do. And so we're going to give you some ABCs. And so the A is to acknowledge or admit you're not perfect, like Trina just said. You're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. God didn't make you to be perfect. He accepts you the way you are. He knew every flaw you had, and he gave you those kids anyway. Amen. Because he knew that with him, it was going to be all right. And so we want to really talk a little bit about that. Now, Tria, you have this story you shared with me about Christian falling. Yes. Would you be willing to share that?
Sure. All right. So my son is 12, and 10 years ago, he was laying in my bed, and my husband went to work, and I have a tendency, our bed is pretty high, and so I put pillows around him if he's in our bed so he won't fall off.
Right.
Well, that day when he came in that morning, I was too tired. I didn't put the pillows beside him, and he fell off the bed, and I heard this scream. And I picked him up, I checked everything, nothing swollen, everything was fine. Okay. But I still felt really guilty because I didn't get up and put the pillows beside him. Right. Well, 2 days later, he was playing catch with my husband, and I noticed that he wouldn't use one of his arms. Okay. And I started thinking about, the last couple of days he hasn't been using his arm. And so I called the nurse, and she told me to squeeze his arm. I told her there was no swelling or anything, but she said squeeze it anyway. So I squeezed it, and Christian let out this scream that I don't think I've ever heard before. So she said, take him immediately to either urgent care or the emergency room. Wow. And so we took him to urgent care. The doctor checked him and said, oh, he's probably fine. There's nothing wrong, but let me do the x-ray. Okay. My son in the x-ray room at 2, he's like, enjoying the x-ray and everything. So they come out, and the doctor said, Mrs. Ferguson, Christian broke his arm in 2 places. And I cried. It was the tears, the way I reacted was so bad that my husband took Christian and they slid down to the other end of the bench because I could not pull it together. It was guilt. I could not believe that for 2 days, my 2-year-old had a broken arm. And it was all because I didn't wake up and put pillows beside him. And so, there was a mom there. And the mom just waited till I calmed down, and she looked at me and she said, is this your first time? And I'm like, now is not the time to talk to me about this being my first time. So I said yes, and she said, oh, you'll be back. You'll be fine. He'll be fine. You'll be back. And I was so mad at her because she said I will be back to urgent care. So then she sat back and she showed me her son, who's 15. And she said, we have been in urgent care from 1 until 15. That's how he is. He's here with a broken ankle. And so just her taking the time out to talk to me actually calmed me down and let me know that he will be okay. But you still, as a mom, you carry that guilt. Right. And so Christian actually just brought this up this week, and he said he laughed because up until he was 9, I put pillows beside him no matter what bed he was in. I lined his bed with pillows, and literally he was 9 years old. We were in a hotel room, and my brother was with us, and so we had adjoining rooms, and I go in to say goodnight to my 9-year-old son, and I start putting pillows beside him. And my brother says, what are you doing? I said, oh, I don't want him to fall out the bed. Wow. And he said, he's 9! So my brother literally grabbed the pillows and threw them across the room. I begged him, can I please put them on the floor so he won't fall? And he, he would not let me. So the next morning, Christian knocked on the door. And he said, Mommy, I'm okay.
I survived the night.
I survived it. And surprisingly, that's what broke the guilt. It took that long, but that's what broke it. And it made me realize that he will be fine.
That's right.
He will be fine.
That's right. That is awesome. Isn't it great that we don't have to trust in ourselves? Yes. To raise these kids. Yes. In our mind, I think we feel like we're totally and completely responsible. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is, as a human being, there's no way we could cover every possible thing, that could possibly go wrong. Yeah. So it's really good to learn, that God has us. But sometimes he has to take us in a process. Yes. So, even there, somebody else could have said, oh, you should have been over that. Right. But for you, it took him until 9. Yeah, exactly. And God loves us enough that just gives us grace, and He lets us go through the process we need to get where we need to get to. So we just really want to encourage mom. Guilt is your enemy. There's nothing productive that comes out of it. I remember a day when and it's a hard story, but it's really a good one, and it's one that I need to share because I think it could help someone else. I actually was a very angry mom. So when and controlling, I used anger to control because I don't know. That's just how I handled my world. I remember a day when I was really upset with my then 4-year-old, and I was so upset. I actually grabbed her and I picked her up and I threw her into a chair. And I was in shock at myself that that I did something like that. And in that moment, I just heard the Holy Spirit, just really say, "You don't get it. That's my child. She belongs to me. And that's not okay the way you're treating her. You're having a temper tantrum. She's the one who's supposed to be having the temper tantrum, but you're having the temper tantrum." And right in that moment, I saw myself, talk about guilt. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But also I realized I had an opportunity to fix it. And so I got down on my knees and I called that precious little baby over to me. And I said, "Would you please forgive mommy? What I did was wrong. And God just told me to let you know that, and to let you know I will never do that again." And when I said that, I meant it. I didn't have everything solved, but I just knew I was never going to put my hands on her again in anger. And so the guilt that was there, God enabled me to just receive His love, to understand what I was supposed to get out of it. And that's what the enemy wants to do. Absolutely. He wants us, instead of getting the lesson or the thing that we're supposed to learn, to get all distracted with the guilt so that we don't really even get to what we need to get to. And what I needed to get to was to understand that I needed God. I needed His help to raise these children. And you can't control a 4-year-older. And this, you just can't. Right. You can't make them do everything you want them to do. And life is not this nice little package that, with the nice little bow tied on it. Even though that's what I wanted, that's not life. Yes. And so through that process, I was able to give up the guilt, but receive the grace. Yes, that God had for us. So that's what we're really saying today is, one of those fantastic failures that we think, is guilt, that we have is guilt, but God really wants to give us grace. Yes. And that's what's so fantastic about it. So the next time you're feeling guilty about something, just stop a moment and just ask God, okay, what am I supposed to get out of this? Yes. What are you really saying to me? And you'll bypass those emotions that are trying to distract you, and you can really get to the heart of what God is trying to get to you.
Amen. Was one thing that you said about the acknowledge and admit that you're not perfect. I like the fact that you called her over and you admitted that you were wrong. I think sometimes in our guilt, we know we're wrong, but we may not admit that to our children. And I think that is a wonderful way of even showing our children, hey, look, it's okay to be wrong. Yeah, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. And it's okay to apologize for that. That's good. And so I like the fact that you did that because not only was God teaching you, but in that moment, He was also teaching your daughter how to be wrong and how to make that wrong correct. How to apologize.
Good point. So. And the other thing, we're so afraid when we do something wrong that it's just going to mess up and, we're going to ruin our kids. And that's one of the next things that we're going to talk about. But let me tell you this. That 4-year-old who was used to this angry, controlling mom woke up the next morning to someone who was more thoughtful about what she said, how she treated them, who became kinder. And I'm not saying that the way I was treating her before, you know, was worth it all.
Right.
But she had an appreciation as a 4-year-old for what kindness feels like.
Yeah.
Because she had this contrast of mean mommy, angry mommy, kind mommy. Wow. And she actually had the opportunity to even appreciate the kindness that began to grow in my heart. You know, so God took that bad thing and he allowed it to become something better. I'll never say that it was right. The bad thing wasn't right, but God is so big. He's so powerful that he even takes the wrong stuff.
Yes.
And he turns it around and he makes it a blessing.
Yes.
That's why your failures are fantastic.
Amen.
Because you don't have to be perfect. And when you turn around, God can use that thing to make a difference in your child's life, in your life. And so we don't have to be afraid to fail. We don't have to be afraid to admit or acknowledge that we aren't perfect.
Amen.
Because guess what? God already knows it.
Exactly.
And so do your children.
Exactly.
You're not surprising them when you have to apologize.
Right.
You're not surprising them when you say, you know, mommy was wrong about that. They already know.
They already know.
So it's us who takes time to kind of figure that out. So we're going to remember that. Strategy 1 in our ABCs. Admit you're not perfect. All right, let's go on to our next strategy. Strategy 2, the B, is be realistic. Not a people pleaser. And Trina has a really great story that goes with this next one.
This actually is one of my most recent lessons learned. Last week, actually, an old friend of ours was coming over, and she was fixing us dinner, and so I'm looking at the house, and I'm like, so I'm trying to hurry up and clean, and throw stuff in the doors that are going to be kept closed while they're there, and so I'm cleaning, I'm going really going crazy. I'm telling the kids, do this, do that, do this, and then once everything was where I thought it needed to be, I heard this word in my head. I just heard it, and it just said showtime, and I was like, showtime. And so I ignored it. And then Sunday, I'm getting the girls up and washing their hair, and I'm getting them together, and they just look perfect. And again, that word came up, showtime.
Wow.
And I had to stop at that moment because I had to ask myself, who am I doing this for? Mm-hmm. What I'm doing is I'm presenting this life that really isn't an everyday thing. And I'm not saying that you have to have your house perfect every day or the kids looking great every single day. My mom definitely has to take pride in who you are and whose you are. Okay. And so I'm not saying don't do that, but don't put on a show. Don't make it like, my house always looks like this. Just don't go upstairs to that door that's closed. Because sometimes we put so much on ourselves trying to present this life that it's really not. It doesn't look that great all the time. It does not look that great. And I'm thankful that we were able to get it together, but we should have been able to do that just for ourselves. Yes. Not because somebody.
All right, let's see what's going. Can you guys still see us? Let's see, battery is low. Let's see what's going on. Keep talking, Trey.
Okay, so we're on Facebook Live, but a lot of times on Facebook we have a tendency to present the best of us, and sometimes when we're presenting the best of us, it's causing others to feel like they are falling short because we're always presenting the best of us. And I'm not saying to air your dirty laundry on Facebook, but I am saying make sure you take the time to talk to other moms and let them know, this is. Let them know that it's not always showtime. It's not. You still have your fall like the next mom. That's the only thing that we're going through.
That's good. It's funny with the house thing. Some people don't really struggle with that. And, and then some people really do. And it's funny that we're friends because, that was really an issue for us. I remember a time when I really had some struggles with house cleaning. I'll just be honest with you, especially when the children were young.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a homeschool mom like Trina, and we were home all day. So one of the things that's a little different about house cleaning is when you have kids in the house all day, it makes it a little harder. I remember one day we smelled smoke.
Oh, wow.
And our house was tore up from the floor up. But we smelled smoke. And I just kind of like called the fire department. I was like, can I ask you a question? Well, we smell a little smoke. What would you recommend we do? They were like, oh man, what's your address? We're coming out right now. I'm like, no, we don't want you to come. And like, you called, we have to come. Right. I'm like, oh my God, I am going to be so humiliated. So I hung up the phone and it started pulling, we had trash bags and we're stuffing things in them and throwing them in the closet as we hear the fire engines, coming to the neighborhood, and all the neighbors are standing out there like, oh my God, what's going on? And so, we finally, they knocked, we didn't answer right away because we were still trying to put stuff away. And so finally we're,
right,
open the door, and let them in, and they looked around and they found out that our dear little ones were taking little pieces of trash and putting them in the vents. They were like a little contest. So when they're supposed to be in their bedroom, have quiet time because they're older now, probably didn't anymore. Right. They were at the vents putting stuff in the vents. Oh my God! So if it's about trying to please people, eventually that's not going to work out. It's not going to work out so well. So, sometimes it's good just to be who you are, because guess what? The people that really love you,
that's true,
are going to love you if they have to move the stuff off the couch to sit down.
That is true.
In fact, the people that really love you are going to help you take the stuff off the couch before they sit down. I have had friends come over who just started cleaning up, because they're like, Nita needs a little help. If I was too proud to let them in the door, then I would have missed out on that opportunity. But I found out who my real friends were.
Yeah.
So, that is be realistic, not a people pleaser. And I think as moms, we really struggle with the people pleaser part.
We do.
You have any other thoughts?
As far as the people pleaser, some of that I definitely believe is just us. But sometimes I feel like it's also society. My husband can take the girls out with their hair looking crazy. And, they come home and I'm like, did you really leave the house like that? And my husband's like, oh man, everybody loved them. They're like, oh, they're so cute. But when I take them out the house, if they look like that,
wow,
it's not the same. Okay. It's, you didn't do their hair today, or, it must have been a busy day.
Wow.
And so the comments to mom sometimes can be very different than the comments to dad.
That's a good point. Yeah, so that's true. And that's, again, people pleasing. As long as it takes someone else to validate you or what you're doing, you will always have the potential to not be happy.
Yeah. Because
you've actually given the power to someone else. Hey, we see you guys. Angie Jenkins, thank you. Lawrence McCoy, great to see you. Martha, Dolores Allen. I'm sorry that we're like trying to get talking. Yes. It's like a lot going on, and my phone almost went out. But I just want you guys to know that we see you, and we're so thankful that you're here with us. If you think what we're sharing is good, we have another about 20 minutes. Please feel free to share and invite some other moms who might be who might need this encouragement tonight. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being with us. So the next thing that we want to talk about is the ABC is consistency. And another way maybe of thinking of it is also balance. So what do you think about that when we talked about that earlier?
Okay. With balance, like I said earlier, it's not so much about putting on a show, but at the same time, you want to be a good steward of your home. You want to be a good steward of your children,
right? And
even yourself. I'm learning. I'm actually learning. I got my nails done. I'm actually learning that that balance also includes making sure that you're balanced, making sure that you are not just all children, all house, all wife, all this, but that you have a balance. And God wants us to take care of ourselves as well. And however it is, however you see it, do what helps you to have a balance in your own home, and within your own self. Like I said, it's not a show, but at the same time, you don't want to be a bad steward of what He has given you. You want to show God, hey, Lord, I know I'm not, I don't always have it. I don't always do, exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I do appreciate the house. I know sometimes as I'm cleaning, I'm like, Lord, thank you for the home that you've given to us. Lord, thank you for the children that work in nurse right now. Thank you for them. Make sure that you have that balance in your life, because it does, for me, it reminds me to be thankful of the things that I have, and that helps me to have that balance. I haven't reached that balance yet, but I am working towards it. Yes. It's
a lifetime work.
Yeah.
It really is. I think for a lot of moms, part of the problem is we're just doing too much. Mm-hmm. Just too much. We have this idea in our heads that in order for us to be a good mom, we have to make sure we take the kids over here and they get to go this thing over here, and so is doing that over there, and we don't want to miss out over here, and we're just doing too many things because we're afraid.
Yeah, I think so.
It's fear.
Yeah.
We're afraid somehow we're going to miss something. We're afraid somehow we're going to mess our kids up. And what God really wants to do, in order for you to ever really truly have balance, you really have to be honest enough to just open your hands and let God take out whatever it is that He really knows you don't have to do right now. Yeah. Like, I can guarantee you that for the moms that are listening to this, there are things you're doing you don't have to. Yeah. You're doing them out of guilt, or you're doing them out of fear, or you're doing them because your kids are bullying you to do them, because they keep bugging you, Mommy, can we? You don't have to. The peace that God wants to give you is actually already in your hand. Mm-hmm. But there's things that you have to release. His peace is already with you. Yeah. But He's waiting, for us to let go of some of the things that we're holding on to. And so I counsel women, moms, all the time. And it's so clear for me to be able to look and I can see, you really could let this go. And you don't have to do it like that. And they sit there and they go, that's a good idea. And they walk out of my office and don't drop a thing. Not a thing. And it's kind of like, you okay?
Yeah.
And so I would say to you that the most important thing your child needs. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Hey, Eve, want to make sure we're saying hello, Natalie. Want to keep talking to folks. Oh, Lawrence, you guys are cousins? Lawrence Ferguson?
That's my husband.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry about that. What was I saying? Lawrence got me off.
About letting things go.
Yeah, so the most important thing your child needs is you.
Yeah. Yes.
Bar none.
Yep.
If you made a commitment today to spend more time with them, to get them to unplug from all of that technology, to actually have a date with them on a regular basis, if you just begin to add little things in, to secretly, don't tell them we're not watching TV, but just start turning that TV off and playing some games together, going outside with them, beginning to connect with them. You wouldn't need all that other busy stuff. Sometimes we're trying to get away from our kids because we haven't learned how to enjoy them.
That's true.
And so we put them over here so they can do that. And okay, now they're back with us, but they're plugged in. They get in the car. They got their earphones in. Do you understand that these days, your relationship with your child is the only thing that's going to keep them.
Yeah.
As you talk to them about God and as you relate to them as a person, that is what's going to keep them, because the stuff they're watching on TV, the stuff they're hearing at school, the stuff they're getting from their friends, you're outnumbered.
Yes.
It used to be a day when we had moms and dads and grandmas and aunties were around us.
Yeah.
They would help us. They had the same values that we did. There was a day when you walked out the door and you knew your neighbors. Mm-hmm. And not only did you know your neighbors, you knew them by name, you knew them by face. But if you got in trouble, if you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing,
neighbor got you.
Okay? So that's two things we don't have anymore. Then the school system doesn't line up necessarily with our values. And then many of us are not connected to a church. So we've got 4 different things that we used to have that would help us, how would help us to be able to nurture and build that child. Yeah, Angie, like playing bubbles with the kids. I mean, so simple. So now when you take these 4 things and you begin to pull them away, now you are become much, much more, actually more important to your child than you even were back in the day, because you live far away from mom and dad. You don't know who your neighbor is. Some of my neighbors pull into their garage. I don't even know what they look like. Is that crazy? So we really have to begin to unplug and to realize that the only job you have right now, if you have a child, is to take care of that child. If you have a husband, of course, you got to take care of him and to take care of yourself. Yes. And to ask God to help you how to do that. That is the most important thing in life. My husband and I have raised 3 children. Our oldest is 32 years old. And I will tell you, anything else I do in life is gravy. That was the greatest opportunity that I ever had. And what I thought was a sacrifice, I know now was a privilege. Don't miss it, guys. God's trusting you. And you can do it. And you can do it.
I just want to add, just one day at a time. I was looking at Angela's comment about how she's forgotten how to enjoy them. But I think at some point, sometimes we all do. And because they're changing and they go through different seasons, I look at it as a new opportunity for me to relearn, if that's a word, relearn my children. Yes. But just as simple as sometimes we'll have tea time. Just as simple as drinking a cup of tea. I love tea, so why not invite them, and then that's my time with them. I had to teach myself. It does not have to be all that deep. It could just be a movie. Right. It could be, it could be anything. It just be, Christian has a tendency to come up to me and just push me. Just that little tap,
Wow.
It could be anything. It could be anything. And I am learning that it does not have to be that deep for them. They just want to spend time with you. Yeah. And even if they may appear that they don't want to spend time with you, just today, I was, dancing in front of Christian, and he just had this smirk on his face, and I was like, you want to laugh. But, just those little, hey, I see you kind of thing. That's I do see you. Yes. You're not a bother. I do see you. Yes. It's sometimes all that they need. So.
That's awesome. Wow, I see that. Dolores, she said, I wish I had been taught all of this as a mom in the 60s without Christ. I pray those of us who are raising our children would forgive ourselves now. Very enlightening. That is awesome. Yeah. That's it. And that's what we said. We used guilt was first, because the bottom line is let it go. Yeah. It's past. It's done. God can fix it. Amen. He just wants you to go ahead and say, okay, God, what do I need to do? Yep. Thanks for sharing that. Yes. Okay, so we ended up with 2 B's, okay? Balance. Okay, so now we're going to go on to consistency. So I have a question for you. Are your kids obeying? So how many times, do you have to say to the kids, do something before they take it seriously? Have you gotten so used to just saying it 4 times before they do it? Or have they gotten used to you having to say it 4 times before you really mean it? Consistency is key. It actually will bring peace to your life. It takes a little more energy at the beginning because you have to stay focused on what you said. But once they begin to get that you said it and you expect them to do it right now, it actually will simplify your life. Like, have you wondered why usually when a police officer pulls you over and he gets out the car, he says in a very calm voice, "I'd like to see your registration and license." He doesn't yell it.
Right.
He's not screaming at you. I mean, I'm talking normally. We do have some stuff going on. But usually when, a policeman pulls you over, he doesn't yell. He doesn't say it 4 times. He doesn't really have to say anything. His lights say it all. If you get somebody behind you and they got the lights on, you're in trouble. And you just calmly pull over to the side and receive whatever it is they have for you. Do you understand that you have that kind of power? God has given you that authority. In your home, mom, you have the authority to speak to your child and they can obey you the first time. Now, I hear a lot of people say, well, they obey their dad, when dad comes in the door, then they obey. Well, that's just because dad is not playing.
Exactly.
And they know it. And so, the police officer doesn't yell. He very calmly states what he wants, and you very calmly give it to him. I know you don't think it's possible for your children, but I'm telling you that it is. They only wait till the 4th time because you have taught them that's what you expect. And so if you take the time to become more consistent, and you have to do it gradually if you've been giving them lots of wiggle room. But if you really start thinking the next time, I'm going to be careful, first of all, about what I ask.
Right.
But when I ask, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give specific instruction. I'm going to give specific instruction so that they know what I want and they know that I expect them to do it right now. Yep. So,
it's one of the things that you said about the analogy with the police officer. If you've been pulled over before and you get ready to be, and you're about to be pulled over again, you already know what they're going to ask you for.
That's true.
So I think one of the things with our children is we have to, like you were saying, they at some point they will know what we are asking them to do or what they should be doing without us having to constantly say it over and over and over again. And then the other thing I wanted to say was I had to take a step back and look at myself too. Sometimes as parents, we kind of look at the kids and we're like, well, I'm the mom or I'm the dad and you're the child, so you do. But I had to remind myself, how many times has God asked me or told me to do something and I didn't do it right away? And so if I'm not doing that and it's coming from the head, how can I expect my child to listen to what I'm saying if we're not even listening to the ultimate authority?
How about it?
And so I had to go and I had to ask for forgiveness and I had to, work on my relationship with Christ. And Lord, Casting Crowns has a new CD out called The Very Next Thing, and it's what is it that you want me to do? What is the very next thing that you want me to do? And whatever it is, I will do that. So when you get right, I truly believe that God will show you how to have your children get to a place of you having to say it one time or you not having to say it at all.
Wow.
And my last thing was one of the things that God was showing me was don't set them out to fail. Don't set them up to fail. Teach them how to do what you're asking them to do. More recently, and I got this from another homeschool mom, have a binder for them. Allow that binder to show them what needs to be done for that day and teach them responsibility. And teach them how you go to the binder, you find what your daily chores are, or what your morning routine is, what your nighttime routine is, and have them start learning responsibility.
That's good.
And so there are going to be times that we don't have to say anything. They're up and they do exactly what they need to do because of the binder. And believe it or not, my kids actually, when we, like I said, we're updating our binder right now, but my two girls are quick to be like, Mommy, you know, I did all my morning stuff, and they have this little chart on the board, on the wall, and they'll do it, and they actually have fun with it. Nice. And it's teaching them responsibility. The same with my son. He has, he actually already had his binder, and it was actually easier for him. Instead of having to hear Mom nag all the time, you need to do this, you need to do that, he took the responsibility, open up his binder, look at what he needs to get done, and get it done. Schoolwork is a whole nother topic, but at least that part, you know, I am trying to teach them responsibility in the process.
That's awesome. You know, when you were talking about that, it reminded me of a story. Hey there, Larissa. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Terry.
It reminded me of a story when my son and I would get in fights about the trash. You know, that job that most boys have, having to take the trash out. And so I would say, did you take the trash out? And he would say yes. And then I would go, and the trash would not either be out, or it would be all over the floor. Or his idea of taking the trash out was, we lived in a townhouse, so you could open the back door and the trash can was not far. He would take the trash bag out of the can. He wouldn't pick up any trash that fell or was around the can.
Right.
He would open the back door, the sliding door, and take the trash bag and throw it for the trash can like he was playing basketball. Yeah. Some days it made it, and some days it didn't.
Right.
And in his mind, when I asked, did you take out the trash? He said, yes. So we had a lot of fights about that until I figured out, like you just said, I wasn't given enough instruction. So I had to begin to say, so this is Mommy's idea of taking out the trash, and I actually wrote it down.
Okay.
Step 1, take out the trash bag.
Yeah.
Step 2, look on the floor and see if there's any trash and pick it up and put it in the trash bag. Step 3, do not throw the trash bag. Walk it to the trash can. Right. Step 4, put the top back on the trash can. Step 5, come back in the house and put another trash bag in the trash can. So we think when you say take out the trash, in our brain, it's one step. Right. It's like 5, 6 steps to taking out the trash. Yeah. So as we are able to, like you said, be more, not setting them up to fail.
Right.
Putting the things in place that they need. It takes our stress level down. It takes their stress level down. It brings more peace into the home.
It does.
The other thing that I wanted to say was, be clear, and I had to learn this the hard way. When you holler, when you yell at your child, they are not able to focus on what you're talking about.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're focused on you. And in their mind, they're able to say, Mommy is so mean, or that wasn't fair. They get so focused on she's raising her voice at me that they cannot even hear the correction that you're trying to bring. Okay. It actually exonerates them from whatever it was they were doing, because now it's your fault. Now because you're yelling, now you're the bad mommy, so I don't even have to look at what I'm doing. And so if the goal is to get your child to really hear what you're saying, to really hear what God is saying to them about whatever you're talking about, you must keep the conversation at a low and a calm place, so that they can't focus on anything but themselves and what they need to change.
I actually read an article about a mom who was practicing that, and she said that there were times that she would get so angry she had to walk away. And so she had asked her son to take out the trash, and her son did not take out the trash. And when she got home, she noticed the trash wasn't taken out, and she was so angry. But what she did was, instead of yelling at him, she turned away, and she actually took out the trash herself.
Whoa.
And she said when she took out the trash herself, it actually started calming her down, because she was thinking of all the chores that he can do that she normally does. And so when she came back in the house, she told, this was her teenage son, she told her teenage son, I took out the trash for you. And he says, oh man, thanks, Mom. And she says, okay, well, since I did your chore, here's a list that you can choose from, and you can choose one of my chores to do instead.
Wow.
And she said she's never had a problem with it. But, she said that it did calm her down, so she's not yelling and screaming at him. But it also, made him see, hey, taking out the trash is nowhere near what Mom has to do on a daily basis.
That's good. That's excellent. Yes, so consistency is that third thing that we're talking about. So those are the ABCs. Yes. So let's go back over that real quick. So it's admitting that you're not perfect. It's balance. And what was our other B?
Be realistic.
Being realistic, not trying to please other people. And then our C was consistency.
Yes.
And how it makes a difference, and it brings such peace into the home when you begin to latch on to those things. Now, Trina is this new author, and it's just so exciting. She actually has a book that's been out for maybe 6 months or so now.
About 6
so
months.
Can you tell us about the book?
Sure. All right. So my book is actually Lessons Learned from My Homeschool Day.
Yay!
And the reason why I wrote this book was because I found myself on an unexpected journey. Being at home was not something I desired to do. And then having to, our family, my husband and I finally choosing, God choosing, and then convincing my husband.
Who had to convince you?
Who had to convince me. It took a long time, but I am finally convinced to keep this thing going. But I wrote it because I was on an unexpected journey. This was not what I wanted to do. And so I remember sitting on the step just feeling defeated one day. And I'm looking at my 3 children, and I just start crying because I'm thinking of, why would you choose me? I'm not great at house cleaning. I'm not great at cooking. I will cook enough for us to survive. But the gourmet and the southern, and it's just it's not. And when I do, I'm like, ooh. I can bake now. Okay, I can have some cookies for you. But so I just didn't understand why chose me to do this job. And I'm looking at finances, and I just didn't understand, and so I just cried. And I remember that day so clearly. I just remember hearing, why do you think you're bigger than the purpose? I'm sorry, why do you think you're better than the purpose that I have for you? And I literally, it sounded like somebody was sitting next to me. And I just stopped, and I was like, what? And it was the same. Yes. Why do you think you're better than the purpose that I have for you? And so as I sat there, now my tears are, I'm so sorry, Lord. But at that moment, the book came to my mind, and I just started jotting down various lessons that I would learn throughout my homeschool day, because I knew that I could not be the only mom who was feeling that way. I knew that. Now, this book is not just for the homeschool mom. The book is for anybody on an unexpected journey. Embrace the journey that you're on. Learn as many lessons as you can while you're on this journey, and write them down and share them. You have to share your story. Lately I've been telling people, share your story, because you never know who will be blessed by it. So my book is actually, I made it so that each chapter is very short. Okay. It has a teachable moment. Which is, I love sharing my stories, so it's just a story that I learned something from, that took from today. And it has that learn, which is just a quick, this is what I learned at. And then the last part in the book is my ever-present help, because I cannot do this without God. Wow. So it's a scripture that either helped me get through that lesson during that time, or a scripture that I believe will help someone else get through their personal walk, their personal journey. Awesome. And so that's what the book is about. I just wanted to encourage and to help. That's it. If you're a mom or dad, one of our good friends actually read it, and she's not a mom or a dad, and but she really enjoyed it, because I really wanted it to be practical enough to be able to encourage someone who might be on an unexpected journey.
Wow, that is so awesome.
So if you would like a copy of the book is $12. And you can actually put your email address in the comments, and just write book so that I know that you're putting your email address for the book. and then I can send you an invoice for the book.
Awesome. Yay! I'm so proud of you.
One of Lawrence's aunts would always say, to God be the glory. And to God be the glory, because it's truly, I never expected that God would bring something like this out of a place that I honestly, at that point in my life, I hated. And so he brought something really big and encouraging out of that place, and I'm thankful for it.
Amen. So, that is so awesome. Oh, I'm just, please. Now, did you mention that you only have so many copies, so if they want it, they better go in?
I actually have 10 copies left right now.
Get them.
They are selling. Thank you, Lord. They are selling, so I have 10 copies. So if you would like a copy, like I said, go ahead and put your email address down. I'll send you an invoice. I will be getting another shipment in. I'm just not quite sure exactly when. Awesome. So the first 10 will definitely get theirs by the end of next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been so much fun.
It's been awesome.
It's almost coming to the end now. And so I just wanted to share with you guys that if you are enjoying, what's going on here, and if you're a mom and you would like some coaching, I'm going to do a 3-week session of coaching that really help you with specific issues that you want to grow in, those fantastic failures that you might have. The group is called I'm Fantastic, and it's 3 weeks, 1 hour live coaching. Actually will be online, where you'll be able to get out those very specific things that you want to work on and grow in as a mom. And so we will, if you're interested, you can inbox me. There should be a link coming up. Natalie, can you put that link up for us for where people can go if they're interested? There it is. Awesome. Thank you so much. If you want to just connect with me and get to, just know me better, you can check out AnitaGibson.com. Or you can check out our Facebook groups. We actually have 2. One is called Mom's Motivation Lab. And it's a great place to come and get motivation and encouragement.
Awesome.
Thank you. And then we have something called the Non-Comfort Zone. And that Facebook group is for people who are like tired of being stuck, who know that they've been trying to do it on their own, and they know they need some support. Both of the groups are free. We just offer encouragement, and we celebrate each other's wins. We answer give suggestions when we're struggling through things. And so those are some of the ways that you can connect with me. And thank you so much, Natalie Burton. She's my virtual assistant, and she is fantastic. I love her. So we're going to we're getting ready to go, but you guys might have some questions. So if you have any, and I should have said this earlier, you can go ahead and put them in the comments. And so, do you have anything else that you want to say, just to give people a chance to see if we have any questions?
I just remember those ABCs. Definitely remember those ABCs. And I'll say them again. Admit or acknowledge that you're not perfect. Be realistic. Have balance, and see consistency is key. In all of that, and above all, trust and rely on God to help you through every step of the way of parenthood. I could not do this without him. I could not, and so yeah.
Awesome. So listen, Mom, you are absolutely fantastic. You are everything that you need. God has given you everything you need to raise your child in a way that honors him. Trust and believe that. And when those things come up that don't agree with that, do not receive them, because they are not true. And so we just want to encourage you that you are truly, every mom that is listening to the sound of my voice, you are truly fantastic. And my prayer is that this week, for anyone who does not believe that God would confirm to you that there is no one else like you. that we need you in this place, in the earth, that your children need you, that anything that you feel you're doing that you shouldn't do, all you have to do is ask forgiveness and get to moving to that new place that God has for you. Right. We're looking for praise reports.
Amen.
We're looking for people to let us know what God is doing, because this is really not about Trina and I.
Exactly.
It's about the gift that God has given us, and we're just trying to be obedient and get the word out that you can do this.
Yes.
All right, guys. This is Anita Gibson,
and
coach.
Ferguson.
Oh, wait. We're gonna let her. I want her to say more than that. Okay, so when you say your name, then you have to say all the other things that you are. Okay, so you go first. Go ahead.
This is Trina Ferguson, homeschool mom, youth leader, and author,
and wife, and and sister, and
daughter.
She got it going on. Okay,
Okay.
got it going on. And this is Anita Gibson, coach, speaker, and educational strategist. And we were pleased to serve you tonight.
Yes.
All right, guys, we'll be talking to you.
Bye.
Bye. And let us know if you want us to do this again.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.